Hello everyone, welcome to .NET Mirror channel. Today let's understand what is .NET Aspire. How could you build your first app with Aspire? In this video, we will look at what is .NET Aspire. We'll try to create a basic ASP.NET application with Aspire framework, and we will run that app and we will try to see how Aspire looks like, and we will also look at different features of Aspire. When it comes to .NET Aspire, it's a open source framework to build your applications which are observable, production ready, and you can distribute these applications very easily with the .NET. It has features like orchestration, integrations, and observability. When it comes to orchestration, on your applications, you can easily orchestrate the front end, the APIs, the containers, and the databases very easily. And Aspire provides set of tools and libraries and templates to help the developers where they can build and manage different services which can be interconnected. You can easily add projects and different services to the project with the Aspire, and you can download different containers from the central repository, and you could use the storage and messaging services as well. So you can put all services together and you can easily integrate with your application. When it comes to observability, when your application is running, if there are any issues, you can easily see the real-time logs within the Aspire, and you can integrate the telemetry which will simplify monitoring and debugging of your application. You can trace all service events, the metrics which are required for your application, like active requests, the request duration, and all. There are a lot of other metrics you can observe from this Aspire dashboard. And there's a console view for each service where you can say whether my how is my service running, are there any problems, and if there are any dependent services, are there any issues, you can easily see and you can resolve them from this console view. And also the other good thing is, when it comes to different services, instead of hard coding to a urls, you can easily put the names to the services and the integration becomes easily, and Aspire automatically makes the communication easy with these service names. In the .NET Aspire, you get a developer dashboard, orchestration of your apps, different set of components. There's a service discovery, and you can easily, once you develop your application locally, you can easily deploy. It's more like developing locally, making your application production ready, and you can distribute your application easily. And when it comes to the core components, there are two set of components: AppHost and service defaults. AppHost, whenever you create an Aspire application with AppHost, right, you can easily orchestrate your projects, the dependencies. This is a this is a different project where you can put all your projects, and automatically when you have this AppHost, all services will be running in the order, whatever the order you are defined. And this is a main app which serves your application. And when it comes to service defaults, it contains all the information about the telemetry and health checks of your application. Let's get into the demo. Let me open Visual Studio. Let me create a new project. And if you look at here, I already got the Aspire templates. Let's say if you don't have Aspire installed, what you could do is you can go to installer, and you click on, I have currently Visual Studio Community Edition. You click on modify, go to the individual components, and you can check for Aspire. And if this is not enabled, you can, if once you enable and install it, automatically you will see these templates available when you are creating a project. Now let me create, when you look for .NET Aspire, there are different templates. This is as end to end the Blazor application. The backend, it contains a weather forecast kind of a screen, and you can start from these templates. You can start from the scratch. AppHost you can use for exist AppHost and service defaults. If there's an existing project, if you want to bring Aspire, these templates you can use, and there are test projects as well you can use for your needs. So at this moment, let me click on the starter app. Let me click on next. Let's give a name as per demo. Yeah, let's select .NET 8. And at the moment I did not click on any Redis cache. Once the solution is created, you can see different projects. One is API service, where you have code related to your API. The other one is AppHost, which we talked about. This is the main one to run your Aspire. You have service defaults, which contains all health checks and telemetry. And this is our ASP.NET web application. So when you go and check the AppHost, it contains basically the API service. It says it is trying to add our API service project. It is adding our front front end web app. And when you see here, it says that this particular one waits for an API service, which means that when you run Aspire, it first API service will run, then front end will run, then you can see in the Aspire dashboard. Now when you go to service defaults, you can look at all the telemetry related data. Now let's run this application. By default, app host is the one which is selected. Let's go and run this application. Yeah, if you see now the build is succeeded, and if you look at here, you get an URL. This is your Aspire dashboard URL, and it is automatically opened. Now when you see our Aspire dashboard, it has two services. One is API service and the web front end. If you see here, the web front end is waiting because as API service is not yet done. So let me refresh. Now API service is done. Our web front end will restart. And if you see any kind of these issues like that, and just refresh it. And if I click this, I can look at all my console logs. It says waiting for API services. Now it shows all the details. This is the console view. Now let me go to resources. Now my both services are running. Let me open the front end. So this is our front end app. There's a click me. Let's go and just click this. There's an weather app which is trying to get the data. So now let's go back to Aspire dashboard. So it's clearly showing what are the services. You can bring more services like Redis, Postgres. You can bring SQL, messaging services, storage service, whatever the application you want to build. You can go and as many as possible you can add your services. And also it gives a graph view which application which is talking to here, and to if you bring another services, you can easily understand which services is talking to which services. And when you go to console, you can select a particular services and see my API services where it is running. So if you go to this one, this is where my API service is running. And to see the backend data for the API, you can go to your program.cs, and the endpoint is weather forecast, right? And if I go and just put a weather forecast, I can see my API service data. And this is our front end where you can say, I mean, this is getting into run mode, and this is waiting for API service to run. Once API is done, our backend is running. Once the backend is running, the front end will run. So you can if there are any issue with services, you can easily see and fix those. And when you go to structured, this is where you can see all your logs and what exactly is happening with your app and all everything you can check. And if you look at here, let me go to the app again. Let me go to the weather forecast. Let me refresh couple of times. Let me refresh this click me. So at 317, let's go and refresh our logs. Let's refresh this. Yeah, so these are the logs which got over here. Everything you can see what kind of API calls are happening, you can see here. And when you go to traces, you can see what interactions we are making. And if you look at now, just now I click on a counter, right? So it says that there's an API call, and you can see all that metrics over here. So it becomes easy, as much as possible. If you are bringing services, you can go and see what's happening between the services. You can look at here, and when you go to the metrics, you can see, let's say for my web front end, I can go and look at how many active requests are, at what time the requests are moving. All the data you can see over here. So with this, I mean, you can look at everything at one view on a local. Once everything is working, you can take this local version and deploy to your production. Yeah, coming back, right? So yeah, these are different services. This is your front end. This is your service defaults where health check is available. This is the main app post where you are registering your services. This is your API service. Now let's go back to the PPT. Yeah, if you want to refer some more articles, you can go and check. There's a new website is created, aspire.dev, and you can go and check everything over there. Thanks for watching the video. Please subscribe to our channel. Please give a like and share with your friends, and click on bell icon to get more videos. Thanks for watching.